We are here at the It's Time to Go call, or talk about Go, and we forgot to record it, unfortunately, from the beginning. But we remember now, and we will go through what we've discussed today. So we were looking to issues on the GitLab agents. Repo that are good for new contributors. And we found this one, which has to do to converting enum to strings, because we believe that there is a problem with enums where we can't use the same names. I think is it correctly to say we can't use the same enum names without having them as unique? Is that a good description, or would you describe it differently?
So all enums in a single package have to be named differently. Like the values for the enums have to be named differently because the values share the namespace. They don't belong to a particular enum, basically. And that's just annoying. You can't have two enums with the same value. If you rephrase it, that's the thing. So we decided a long time ago that we want to change this enum to a string and just use validation on top of that string instead of enum doing the validation for us. And we can actually do a better job with validation.
So we had this enum right here that we removed, and everywhere that we were calling it, we converted to a string like that, make it an optional string. And we added some protocol, forgot how those are called. Okay.
Validation. Or
validation, but there's each one of those are what? This is validation. But,
attributes.
Trailers?
Attributes.
Attributes?
I think attributes.
Protocol attributes. Right. So you're just adding validation to match what enum had before, using this in predicate. I don't know what to call it.
Mm-hmm. And another interesting property here, property of this change is that before we were accepting a string with an empty field, with an empty value, and that would mean the default value, which is TCP. And now we become more strict, and an empty string will not be allowed by validation. If you want a default, omit the value, omit the field or in your YAML. So do not specify network if you want default. You don't specify an empty string if you want default. And we can disambiguate or distinguish between these two by having the optional there. So we track if the field is present or not. It's a new feature that was added a year ago or so to Proto 3. It wasn't available before.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, because enums were like, I think they default naturally to 0 because they are integers, I think, right? And now we have to also apply the default because, like Mikhail said, we cannot have like an empty string as a default. So we need to also implement like the default to what is, if the user does not pass it, then what's the default.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we are doing here also, like, not a good example.
Not yet.
So yeah, so we have like a defaulting protocol defaulting file. And well, let's just open this file. And here we implement functions to basically apply the defaults. And we didn't have a function that would apply the default to a string pointer or a pointer to a string. And this is basically what we got from protocol from protobuf after we regenerated the protocol, the protobuf. If we go to, is this the one? No. Fine. This one that got generated, you can look for a network and see that it has generated a pointer to a string. So that's why we created that that string default, or yeah, string pointer, which will apply the default.
Mm-hmm.
And this default will be applied on the where we use that network thingy, which is basically on the CAS app. And this is on agents, default the agent server, which is here. So we were just about like to write that here. We implemented the method, now we can pass the
And I suggest you, currently all the fields, the defaulting happens in the order of the fields. So please move it above so that we maintain the order. I think it should be above the address, if I'm not wrong. If you click,
not here.
If you click at the address,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, command click. Network is above it, so let's put the network defaulting above this thing. Thank you.
And this is listen. That's network. And we need to set the default. And also just set
and
it
yeah,
here. Default agent to listen network. And we can say TCP. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
We need tests for this one.
No, what we need is to do this in a few more places. Everywhere the network was used, where enum was used. Sorry.
It might have just been used here, I think.
So if you open the proto file, you'll see where it was used.
Oh, yeah. So this one, listen Kubernetes API call. But this will map to the generated file, which is this one. Maybe from here it's
you can
right?
search for where we are defaulting the address, maybe, or
configure that. Let it no. Because this is
this is for the Kubernetes. This is for it's the same type, but it's in a different place. And
right here.
Yeah, here you haven't fixed this.
Oh yeah. There's also that before we were converting the thing to a string, and now it's a pointer to a string.
So for other places where this is used, they are probably in modules. You can find this by looking at the address defaulting, search for use of the address, and see where it is defaulted. And then at the same place, you need to default. No, just go to that struct, like here, address on this line. No, 27. And search for address where it is used.
So here.
Yes. So here, for example, we need to define the default network for the observability server.
We need to redefine this here. Yes.
Yeah, this is the observability server. Okay, now I think this was a separate type for this observability listen CF, but then we also need to look at what other addresses are there to find the matching networks.
And this I can find best where here.
Yeah.
Where the server config, probably.
Maybe. No, this is this doesn't have, does it?
No.
No, this is not the one. So maybe we can start from the proto, go from the proto file and just look at where the fields are that we changed.
Kubernetes API.
Yeah, I think this should be in the Kubernetes API module.
And API.
No, server and defaulting.
I see. Oh, yeah.
And then the module should probably be updated to dereference the pointer. There's probably an error somewhere in module or in the proxy.
Looks like it doesn't. Otherwise, it should like
only if you open it. It doesn't try to evaluate all the files.
Okay.
Cool. And then there's probably more. What else did we change? Not this one.
This is the agent.
This needs to be changed to be optional, but later.
Listen API config. Have we done this?
No, I don't think so. Wait, API. Yeah, no.
And where does this get used? Private API config.
This should be in the defaulting, in the main defaulting.
Main defaulting.
In
tools.
No, in the CAS defaulting file.
But this is done.
There should be line 45 and then line 48 as well for
Okay,
API and private API. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Agent listen. Okay. I didn't remember any of this. This one as well.
Mm-hmm. You haven't defined it.
Haven't set up yet. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
We still have more.
I don't know. I just count how many have we changed.
One.
Not one. Why one? The configured
I'm
app
counting.
contains multiple.
Configured app contains a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's look at the proto file and see what we've done there.
Yeah, this was easy. List and config. This we've done. Observability we've done. This we've done. And this is done, right?
Yes. There should be one more, which we have changed to the private API. Is that all the div?
Yeah, for the proto file, yes.
Interesting.
Because the private API used this one, no?
Yeah, maybe there's several that use the same listen API struct. Yes, API and private. Yes, exactly. Okay. And we have changed both. Cool.
If we haven't changed it, the CI will tell us, I guess.
Yeah. Well, maybe, but I think you need to run the tests. Something might actually fail. Also, we have the test that generates the example configuration file for CAS, and it will probably or most likely fail now. Yeah, config example test. Just run this one. So it takes this half empty file and applies defaults to it, and then compares it with the YAML file that we have in the same directory. And if they're not the same, then it fails. Yeah, it's just meant to keep the example up to date. That YAML, yeah.
Cool.
It will tell us that network is missing. Yeah. Only in one place.
should be empty, but was.
No, that.
Okay, this is the error.
The div should be empty. Yeah, but there was something.
Network string TCP
For private
on
API.
the listen private API.
Yeah, it's probably below. Yeah.
And listen to both address and network, which is TCP.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just rerun. See if it passes. Fast.
Cool. Well, you can also try running class locally. Yeah, to see if it starts. And you can also edit the configuration file that you supply and remove all the network. Yeah, it looks like it's okay. It started, and it means all the network strings are provided. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, try removing all the network strings from the config to see if it defaults them correctly. Do you know where the config is?
Yes, it's in the GitLab GDK, and then there's GitLab Kubernetes and dash config. It's this one.
Yeah.
Okay, we can comment them out. That's it.
Okay, it works.
Okay, it's running. Just to confirm the cast build, so pointing to GDK. Cool. Cool. Let's commit and push. I don't know if it's a char feature. Convert. Network. See, sorry.
No, you are committing the idea folder.
Oh, with batch, everything's still not committed.
That's why
really
I
read
use
because of Zoom. Okay, no.
That's why I use IntelliJ or Golang to commit things. It's more visual, so. But here it's also visual. You look at what you do, what you are committing here in the editor. So it's okay.
I never know how to explain this.
Same enum value name in different enums. Something like that.
Mhm. Cool. I will change the remote URL needed to SSH. Okay.
Okay, I think that was a good session. Thanks for doing this work. It's good to clean things up and simplify things. If you have a little bit more time later, not right now, we also have the I think Redis uses the empty string as the default, and then we can change it to optional to disallow the empty string. Basically, if you look for that string validation and yeah, in the profile, just look for an empty string, basically 2 double quotes. Yeah, this needs to be changed to optional, and yeah, defaulting will also change to pointer. But yeah, let's do it separately in a separate MR.
Interesting that this was already done for network.
Yeah, because this was
the other
done
network
later.
thing.
I think we did it later. That's why it's in the new way. But optional was not available when we were doing this. So now is a good time to convert it to optional. There are more things that we need to convert to optional. Just need to find time.
Right. Okay, dokie. Cool. Thanks.
Well,
This was
thank
fun.
you.